Hi guys. I just wanted to give you guys a run through of my most recent adventure was the San Diego yarn crawl. And this was my first time ever experiencing this. It was overall a great event. And what they do is they get all the yarn and material or thread shops in San Diego together for almost like a fair, but you have to go to the different locations. And how I heard about the yarn crawl was through a friend of mine, Jeremy from Wilmat, where the Wilmat Project, where they taught me how to make the sleeping mats for the homeless. And he is all really knowledgeable about different types of yarns and new events or different things around San Diego. So Jeremy sent me a video from a girl who posted on YouTube about the 2013 yarn crawl in San Diego. And in her video, it was really cool. Like I definitely wanted to experience the event from seeing her video. And in her video, she had like all these samples and different gifts she got from the different shops in around San Diego. And I think it's some in LA, but I only did San Diego County. And after seeing her video, I was like, I definitely need to experience this. One, to really like meet the owners or the people that work at the yarn shops, since our ministry, Love and Hope, is based around different crafts, but mostly we make, of course, the mats. But I mean, one of the things that Ashlyn and I really love to do is making the crocheted hats for the California Cancer Center. And also we've been making the little preemie hats for the Kaiser NICU. And so in this next year, we really want to be able to do more outreaches where we're able to get yarn type crafts as well as others. So I really felt when I saw the video, this was something that I needed to look into. Like, this would be a great opportunity to build relationships with these people, because we always are buying or we need yarn donated. And so I also thought, like, from the girls' video, it had a lot of samples of different types of yarn. And since Ashley and I both are fairly new, I mean, less than 2 years we've been crocheting, the different samples of yarn would allow us to experiment with what works best for whatever outreach we're doing. So I was really excited because, I mean, of course, the free stuff, but also the relationships that I would build with these different people. So I did my yarn crawl on Thursday, which was the first day of this weekend for the San Diego yarn crawl. And I went to over 7 locations because, I mean, you guys know my physical challenges. I felt like it would be better to get it all done in one day and then I could rest the next day. So I started off at a place called A Simpler Time Alpaca and Mill Farm. And oh my gosh, I have pictures on the Facebook page, and I'll send them to the Yarn Crawl page just in case you guys want to see them. But this was a beautiful place to experience. So there they had the alpacas. They had maybe the ones that you can see, about 10 to 15 alpacas. They were so adorable, and they were very friendly. So even though I heard, like, you can't, these things like spit at you and it's kind of crazy, it was not like that at all. They were so cute, and they all had very different textures of hair, which hints that they had a little yarn shop, and they're the owners that live on the property. They had the different types of yarn, very different textures from different alpacas. It was really awesome. The experience was. So they also had there where they sold the different types of looms, where I guess they teach you, or if this is something you do, you can spin the alpaca hair into actual yarn or threads. It was super cool. I mean, these looms were not like electronic looms. These are very simple types of machinery or materials that kind of took me back. It made me think of like how they would have did it in the old days. So it was really awesome to go there. Although it was my first stop, which I learned at the end of my yarn crawl. I probably should have went to a more of a city place to just really get what the experience was about, because all I had to go on was really the Facebook page and the YouTube video that I saw, and it I now feel like that did not give me a clear understanding of what the San Diego Yarn Crawl was about. So from that experience, the lady was very knowledgeable about the different types of alpaca yarns that they make there, and they had a really cute, dainty kind of gift shop. And of course, alpaca yarn is fairly expensive. I mean, based on we've done outreach for almost a year, and a lot of the yarn was donated from Jeremy and the Wilmette group, different people that had yarn. And also, one of the shops that I finally got to visit was the Yarn and Thread Expressions in La Mesa. They donated a lot of yarn to us. So our experience with yarn has really been based upon those donations. We when we buy yarn, because it is we do it as gifts, we are not able to purchase, $10, $15, $20, even $75 type yarns. It's really a Walmart type of experience where we can get a skein of yarn for about $3 or so. And so because we don't have the funding to buy the more expensive type yarns, I never experienced yarn on the level that I did from the yarn crawl. So I did gain that from this experience. Although I do not feel like it would be something at this point that I would be able to do and just go and purchase some of the most expensive yarns. But like stuff like my boots that I did, I would love to be able to make those from a better yarn. And if I'm spending $75 on yarn, I'm probably going to have to sell whatever it is I make at a larger profit just to be able to cover the cost of the yarn. And we would like to get to that point, but we are not there yet. We are just really making the crafts as our mission for our ministry. So it definitely did open up a door where I do feel like I would like to be able to make some things on a larger level. So the boots that I did make are these slipper boots. They button here on the side. And I did watch a couple YouTube videos, but the patterns that I saw didn't really make sense to me. So this was the first thing that I made my own pattern from, using some of the things I learned from other YouTube videos. So in the future, as I tweak the pattern, I'll be sharing that with you guys in future. So I would like to eventually be able to make these out of a really nice alpaca type yarn, or even other type yarns. That one yarn was like $75 for an alpaca yarn. So if I made these from a $75 alpaca yarn, and it probably would take 2 to 4 skeins to make both boots, I would probably have to sell them for $200 to $500 to not only make what I've spent, but to make a profit. So I don't know. We'll see in the future, but that's not where we are yet. So I wanted to share with you guys the different things that I was able to get from the different yarn shops from the San Diego Yarn Crawl. So the first item that I want to share with you guys is the San Diego Yarn Crawl. This bag. Really cool, $10. It's not free, so I want to make clear. I'm gonna make clear on what I spent and what was a gift from the yarn shop, because I think that was one of my major misunderstandings in the YouTube video. I thought that it would be like samples of yarn, and I got from the video, I thought that like the bag was free. It was part of like the whole yarn crawl thing, and that's not true, or it wasn't true this year. So the bag has the different shops that participated in the San Diego yarn crawl, and the buttons are not all shops gave buttons that I went to, but a few did. So I put the buttons where the shop is that I got the buttons from. So these are the really cool buttons that I got. I thought that was a cool idea. And this was the alpaca farm, which was my first stop on the trip. And all of the shops had the bags where you can purchase the bag at the shop. So all were $10 at each location. So at the alpaca farm, though, they had a lot of cool things in the shop. Of course, most were out of my price range. But after the experience, especially with the really cute black alpaca in the picture that you'll see, he just came up to the gate and let me pet him. So it was a really cool experience. I did feel I needed to purchase something. So I felt a little, I'm not going to say pushed, but in the experience, I did kind of feel like I needed to purchase at least something from each yarn shop to kind of just make it the trip kind of worthwhile, because there were no free samples of yarn, and it was kind of sketchy for the most part. But I'll share later in the video how my experience changed closer to the end of the yarn crawl for me. So I love this. This is a skein of alpaca. It's really nice. Of the alpaca yarn that I purchased from the a simpler, is it a simpler place? It's called A Simpler Time Alpaca Mills, and it is in Crest, California. So this was really cool. The family lived there, and the daughter was there, and she was making these really cute little love bugs from, like a little stuffed animal from the alpaca yarn. I tried to purchase one, but I only had a limited amount of money, so I chose the alpaca yarn, which was, it says $15, but on sale for $10. So this, I could have bought like, $3. I probably could have bought almost 6 skeins of yarn for the price I spent for this. And you know how many hats I could have made with that? So this is going to be a special project. I don't know. But it'll definitely have to go for sale, or I'll just keep the yarn. So, or for somebody really, really special. But other than that, also they had honey made at their farm. Oh my gosh. This honey is so good. As you can see, I've already started using it in my nighttime tea. It is so good. And it was only $5 for this jar. And normally when I go to the farmer's market, this size jar is about $7 to $8. So I felt like that was a great deal for the price. Well worth it. A great honey. I love my farm made honey from here in San Diego. It is always really great. So that was my trip to A Simpler Time Alpacas and Mill Farm. It was great. I do wish that they could have gave me a tour and kind of just educated me more on the yarn crawl and the process, but I don't know, I kind of like cornered the owner and asked her all kind of questions, but I wish it would have been more like a knowledgeable, especially being the first place I went to. I wasn't really sure what was up next. So that'll lead me into the next place. The next place I went to is called Border Leather and Yarns. This was on Broadway in Chula Vista. You can probably even see the address on there. I don't know. This was, my camera doesn't zoom in. This was not far from the border, and that was exactly what my experience was like. Everyone spoke Spanish, and I just kind of felt really out of place. This being the second place I went to, it was, I don't know, it was not a really good experience. You could tell everyone in the yarn shop was having a great time because they were all speaking in Spanish. And when I walked in, it was like, oh my God, like nobody really addressed me or welcome to the San Diego Yarn Crawl. It wasn't like that at all. So it was a little frustrating for me. And they had a lot of different types of yarn. There was a guy there who did answer some of my questions about the different yarns. One good thing they had there is that it didn't come with my purchase, but if you purchased most skeins of yarn, that if you purchased, you got the there was like some kind of shawl or hat, or like they had like a baby area of the different baby outfits or gifts you can make for a baby. And you would get a pattern with, if you purchased the yarn that made that particular item, you would get the pattern for it. One for me, over all of the trips, it was most of the patterns, because you got several different patterns. Even without purchase, they gave you, you can get a pattern from the different places. So the Alpaca Farm, they did have a shawl and they had crochet and knit pattern. But most of the shops I went to only had knit patterns, and I don't knit. Like, I've learned and it's really cool, but it's just not my thing yet. I won't say ever, but right now it's not my thing. So this shop, all of the things I wanted to learn how to make were all knit. They were not crochet, and it didn't have like an alternate pattern so you can crochet the same item. So it was really frustrating to me, but I still purchased something and got my little stamp from the passport to go into the overall drawing. They had a couple little games, but they also had like a drawing where you can win. Like, it had like some kind of knitting tools in a little bag that you can win. And I did enter, but I didn't win. At none of the shops, the little drawings they had, I didn't win. So of course that was like a little frustrating, but this was my first time, so I was trying to take it in. So from the Border Leather and Yarn shop, did I see leather? I saw a couple purse made of leather. I did not see where you can purchase leather material. I didn't see, maybe it was in the back. I didn't see it. But of course, I didn't feel really comfortable there. Everybody was talking in Spanish. Nobody really spoke to me or let me in on any of the conversations, and they were all laughing and having fun. But, oh well. I did purchase a skein of yarn. This is a wool yarn. So just trying to like buy stuff that's out of my normal purchasing so that I can try different projects. I don't know. I'm not really sure what I'll make with this, but their prices were extremely, extremely high. This was $12.50. And like I said, I'm not the person to give information about how much something costs, because for the projects that we do are mostly donation. We usually give them away. We have not afforded the opportunity to be able to purchase high-end yarns just based on what we're doing. And so this was $12.50, but it was on sale for $6.25. This was one of the lower cost items that I was able to purchase that would be enough to maybe make a hat or something. even though it was close to the border, the prices were really high to me. There was no like couple dollar yarn. I mean, even in the basic yarns. And I know my friend Jeremy was like, you can't get this yarn at Walmart, but for the project and for the vision we have at this point, Walmart is really working out for us. So I don't think we would have been able to make, I know alone I've made over 200 hats this year to give away to the California Cancer Center. We gave over 60 to 100 away to the homeless at the beginning of the year. And then we've given several to the NICU, Kaiser NICU here in San Diego. So I can't really afford to get, like, there's some really great yarns I would like to try. But at this time, it's just not, it doesn't make sense right now when we're paying out of our pocket to continue to buy yarn. So they did give a free gift. They didn't have the button that most shops had that you can put on the bag, but they gave this little, it's leather, I guess, or pleather, I'm not sure. They did give this little bag away. It's like a little keychain. I'm suspecting that it is for knit because these markers came with it. I am not a knitter, so this is really cool, but I didn't feel like this benefited me at all. I don't think I'll go back to that yarn shop. And please don't take any of this personal. This is my own experience and my own opinion, and everybody has an opinion, so take it as it is. Please don't take offense to this. This is my own experience, and I'm just sharing with you guys because the video that I saw gave me a different impression of this whole yarn crawl event. So the next place I went to is the Needlecraft Cottage, and this place made me smile. I mean, I was hesitant after I left Chula Vista, the Border Leathers yarn shop. I was thinking, this is not something that I want to do, and I really considered just going home because the amount of gas I spent to get to the alpaca farm, plus I got lost, and it was quite the challenge to get there. I just felt like, and then thinking that by my second trip, there's no free yarn, there's no samples, there's no swatches of the different yarn that, like from the video I saw, was like, this may not be a wise investment for me. So I really thought about turning around at that point, but I said, okay, I done mapped today out. Let me just see what I literally prayed, like, God, several years ago, I was physically unable to attempt something like this and wouldn't have never done anything like this by myself. So I did see some growth in myself and felt, just go with it. So by the time I got to the third shop on the San Diego Yarn Crawl, this was Needlecraft Cottage, and when you walk in, it was so inviting. There was a person that welcomed me into the shop. They had a little area set up where you can sign up for a newsletter. They had the button there, which was a really great takeaway item from this event. I mean, the little button was really cute, and to collect them on the bag, it just really kind of added a fun twist to the event. So the ladies that were there were really sweet and really nice. They had they were doing different type of where they were teaching how to do knitting. They were teaching how to do needlework. So they had several workshops available that you can go in for free, and the prices were pretty. Like I said, I don't purchase the different types of yarn, so it was it was out of my price range, so I couldn't purchase anything at this shop. I did purchase my bag from there. Like I said, I tried to get a little something from each shop, so I did buy the bag there. So what they gave was really cool, and like I said, everybody was so sweet. They had like a little jar of candy you can get when you come there, and it was really sweet. But they gave, I've always wanted one of these. It's like a measuring for the different needles, so you can, or the different hooks, so you can know the size of them. So this was really cool. I wanted one of these, and I think this was the coolest gift I got out of all the takeaway gifts they give you. They did have, I think they had where you can have a crochet pattern or knit pattern. So this was the first place I went to where I was able to get my first crochet pattern. And so I was happy about that. You got to choose from a crochet or knit pattern, which seemed like all shops should have did that because everybody don't knit, and it made me feel better. So after I left the Needle Craft Cottage, I did feel inspired to continue my yarn crawl. So I think I had like 3 more shops to go to. So by this time I'm like, okay, let's go through. So the next place I went to was, I think this was the Grove. Yeah, I went to the Grove on Juniper, and this was a really cool shop. So this shop had everything in there. So they had really all types of crafts that you can do. It had the different booths where people were doing different things. This one lady was making beaded pins. They had on the table where you can crochet or sew the little stations. And the ladies were so nice. When you walked in, they all spoke to you. They asked you if you needed any help. Even though it was fairly busy, they were really inviting, and it made it feel better, because by this time it was almost 2 o'clock. I was tired, but the energy was really good in there, so I was excited about that. And everybody was so nice, and they had different crafts. So you can buy there anything from like the beading to the crochet, knitting, yarn, and hooks. They had books. And they also have material, which is also, I don't know if I share with you guys, but I started sewing this year, and I've made a couple different purses. And so I like to purchase materials to go on the inside of my denim purses. So I found a really cool material there. I love crosses. I don't know if I ever shared with you guys. I love crosses. So I thought this material is really cool. And they had little barrels where they sell, like, I guess if leftover material from that they have left, and these are like a yard or a half a yard, which is all I really need for a purse. And it was really cool. It was on sale for $5.50. Just a really nice yarn. So they also had a lady there at the table that stamped your passport. The passport was something that you got stamped at each shop, and you turn it in at the end of your yarn crawl, in a chance to win like a gift basket from whichever shop you leave it at. And this was a really great place. I'm so grateful that I continued the yarn crawl, because it got better after the Chula Vista store. So I really liked this experience, and everybody was really nice. I did get a button, which I love. But there were no free gifts. If it was, I didn't get it. So the button was what I left with. So I do wish they had more like samples, or, like a gift, like, hey, I take out my time to come check out your shop. So I did not get a pattern from this store. Although I think there were patterns with the yarn, so I guess you could purchase a skein of yarn and get a pattern. I'm not sure. I did not get that there. But even though I didn't get the gift or the pattern, It was really cool to go in there and feel invited. And they had, I'll have pictures of this yarn crawl up on the website, on the Facebook. But they had the outside decorated with yarn, the bicycle rack, the stop sign, and the tree right out front had been, I think they call it yarn bombs, and they had it just like yarn was around it, and it was crocheted and knitted, and I thought it was so cute. I took pictures of that. My next shop I stopped at was Arnita's Yarn by Sophia, and Sophia was the lady there. This was a really small shop. She said she's been in this area. It's on Lincoln, so it's in North Park. She says she's been there for about 3 years, and this was her first year in the yarn crawl. She did not have the buttons. I'm not sure why. And she didn't offer a free gift. She did have a little raffle that the drawing would be later that night. I guess I didn't win because I didn't receive a call, but you know, I do wish that I had something to take away from the shop and I didn't have to purchase anything. But I mean, even the patterns were cool for them to offer a pattern or a button. So she didn't have anything like that, but what she did share with me, and she was a really sweet lady, and even though she was there by herself, you can tell she was really inviting and trying to help everyone out. I did hear her say that they had like rolled tacos or whatever outside. She didn't say it to me, and I didn't see it, so I don't know. I don't know if it was just me. Do I not look like the average crochet knitter? I don't know. And the experience was not overall like something I would have to do again next year, but to say I did it was. So she offered this little handwritten coupon where if you spend $50 in her shop, you'll get 10% off. So I'm probably not. Oh, and that's only on October 6th. Okay, so that's probably not going to happen, so I'm not going to be able to benefit from that. She did say she also teaches knitting and crochet classes for $60 a week, and you get, I think she said, 1 or 2 hours of class. This will be a great business for me because YouTube is my teacher and I don't have to pay anything. But yeah, I think I misunderstood the video that I watched. So everything cost. Her yarns were fairly priced. Like I said, at least she was inviting and welcoming, but I wish I would have got like a button or, you know, just something to walk away from, because I use my gas to go to these different shops and it's promoted as the yarn crawl. So I would have thought that, like, not only is it an opportunity for you to make money off of me, but it's an opportunity to build a relationship. And, you know, we give away a lot of stuff through our group. And so, I don't know, I always feel like, give a gift, you know what I mean? Like a sample or something. It wouldn't have cost you that much to, I don't know. But, hey, it is what it is. She did say if we had a group of 15 or more who wanted to learn knitting, she would teach us like the basic cast on and purl for $50 each person. And we are a group that does not make money on the crafts we do for the different, like, Cancer Center and NICU. So it would probably be impossible for us to do that. We would rather invest any funding we have into our leaders going through Impact or on mission trips to different countries to help other people. So we probably will not get to experience that, but that was that shop. So my last and most favorite place of all, this was like a yarn library. I mean, talking about yarngasm, this was that. This was the Yarn and Thread Expressions. Now, maybe I'm a little partial because they have donated yarn to our to our group. So I was excited to go here. I chose to go here last because it was closest to my house, and I just was hoping to see my friend Jeremy. He was there, and I love Jeremy. He has been such a huge supporter. When I very first started working with the Love Mats Ministry, where we were making the mats, and I became a leader, I was very challenged in taking over leadership. I did not think I would be able to do it. And Jeremy and everyone from the Wilmat group or Wilmat project supported me, helped me, and taught me really everything I know at this point. And even throughout my different projects, Jeremy has always been like the person that is like, he'll give me suggestions or teach me a new way to do something. And he helped us. He helped us with the looms for the mats. He taught me how to make the looms, and he gave us a really good price. The price was we bought the supplies, and he taught me how to make them. So, big shout out to Jeremy. I love you, and I appreciate all your support. So I definitely had to come to your favorite yarn shop, Yarn and Thread Expressions, and this was the best shop of all, I would have to say. So they have a yarn crawl like truck. Jeremy said it used to be a food truck that goes to the different yarn shops throughout the yarn crawl event. And it was the first day, and they were at Yarn and Thread Expressions, and so I got to do the yarn shop and the yarn truck. So I'll give you input on both. So when you walk into the yarn shop, oh my gosh, they on both walls, and the back wall is yarns, and they're all like organized, and the colors and the brands. And they also had like these different stations set up on the table. So they had like a table decorated like as if you would sit for dinner. So it had the plates and stuff. But on the plates, it had knitting needles where, you know, you can test out the different yarns. Like if it was a dinner or something, so you could test out the different yarns. They had the crochet needles and the knitting needles with all the different types of yarn. Everyone was so inviting. From the time you walk in, there's a little table and a lady set up where you get your stamp for your passport, and you get your button. And there they had a pattern for I purchased one of these little jars. So cute. They had the pattern on the table for crochet or knit. Go figure. Like, that seemed like something everybody should have did. And like a special item where you can buy for it. But the yarn is included and a really cool little light. And so how cool is that? And so the pattern is a mason jar cover. And you know, these jars are really expensive. So I think I paid like $8 for the whole kit. And so with the yarn and the pattern, it teaches you how to make the mason jar cover. So obviously you can use the pattern for other things like other type jars. You can probably tweak the pattern down to make like a bottle cover, maybe even make like a bottom part of it. Really cool and really cute. It comes with this really cute material over it. It's just a really cute idea, and they had all different colors that you can choose from. I mean, look at the little light. I mean, this by itself is it's a nice price item that you get for a great price, and you get something to walk away from the shop with. I mean, I would have liked if all the shops even had like a gift for $5 to $10, something under $10 with a pattern. I mean, I would have bought one from each shop, you know what I'm saying, rather than giving something free. But I mean, hey, it's over now. So that was my favorite of all because of all the different yarns they had. I love the energy that was there. It was kind of packed, and I can see why it was one of the best place. It was the best place I experienced in the whole yarn crawl. It was one of the most versatile types of yarn. They had from the low cost yarn all the way up to that's where I saw the $75 alpaca yarn. They also offered you when they had different patterns of different things. My favorite was a teddy bear made from like this really soft baby yarn. They had how many skeins of yarn it would take to make each project, so you would know how much you should buy at that point. And even though like the teddy bear had a knitting pattern to it, they were well like open to creating a crochet pattern for it. So I mean, it was a different experience than the other places. And they had patterns for everything in there. If you wanted to learn, they had like a pattern book, like a reference book, or kind of like a library book, where whatever you wanted to learn how to make, they had the patterns in there. And a lot of the patterns were made by people that worked there. I mean, or they were like specific to this yarn shop. So this was my favorite of all. And outside, before you come in, they have a tree decorated with like the yarn bombing yarn out there. It was totally decorated. It was so cute. This yarn shop gets an A+ from me. It was the best. Like I said, I had at the beginning, my experience was not that well. And you can ask these guys anything about the yarn crawl event. They were very knowledgeable about the different types of yarn. If I needed to go to a yarn shop to purchase yarn, this would definitely be the shop that I would go to. And let me just give you their information in case you would like to visit the yarn shop. It was awesome. I know that they have a web page, but I don't have that information. It's on the back, so I'll give it to you guys. So the name of it is Yarn and Thread Expressions. Their address is 7882 La Mesa Boulevard in La Mesa, California. The zip code is 91942. So that's 7882 La Mesa Boulevard in La Mesa, California. Zip code 91942. And the phone number, how cute is this? The phone number is 619-460-YARN, YARN. How could you not love that? So cute. So the web address is www.yarnshop.com. I love this place. I love you guys. I'm so grateful for all your support throughout the year with the yarn donations and just really educating us on. You guys gave us an array of yarn, so we were able to experiment with some other types of yarn. I love how you guys had the shop set up for the yarn crawl. I'm so grateful to not only Jeremy, but all of the representatives you had there to make the experience awesome for us. Sorry I saved you guys for last, but the best is always last. So I'm so grateful to you guys. And they had the yarn crawl truck out there. This was a great experience as well. The ladies that were in the truck, I'm not sure. I'm sure they do the yarn crawl every year, but I'm not sure if they have anything to do with how it's organized or set up, but I did get the impression that they did. Because I did share with them about, I felt really upset because most shops only had a knit pattern to give away, and I'm not a knitter, and so what they had was, of course, it's a cap that you can crochet or knit. So they had on each side of the flyer, they had a pattern for making a hat. That's crochet or knit. And it seemed like this should have been something that was universal to everyone in the yarn shop. And one of the ladies did say this will be something that we talk about for next year. So hopefully that will happen. But there was also a lady there who was a crocheter, and she was able to give me some tips on my boots on how I can make them fit better. And she was just really inviting and sweet, and it just really helped me end my yarn crawl with a bang. So I hope I didn't in any way convince you guys not to go, because I would suggest, if you've never done this, this is definitely something you should experience, and hopefully your experience is better than mine. I would say definitely go to Yarn and Thread Expressions yarn shop in La Mesa. It was the best place in the whole trip. And visit the yarn crawl truck that is at the different locations throughout the weekend. So thank you for this experience, and thank you to all the customer service representatives that were knowledgeable and invited me in. Even though I'm a very new crocheter, I do feel like the last 3 shops I went to, there was no judgment on my race or what I did. If I was a knitter or a crocheter, I do feel like they still invited me into their shops, and for that I am grateful. And so I'm going to sign out now, but if you guys attend the yarn crawl, post a video and let me know how was your experience. Thank you.